He has finally came back after all these years. What will our Prometheus say? And what, next idea be?
I'm gonna ruin everyone's lives by telling my terrible opinions.
What a complete and utter dumbass.
Unpopular opinions. We all have them. Basically, they're just, you tell someone, hey, I hate the Powerpuff Girls, and then you have, like, a whole mob coming towards you to burn down your house. Which, I mean, hey, that's the internet. You're not allowed to have opinions anymore.
Am I right?
But, in all seriousness, I just wanted to talk to you about mine. I know this isn't a usual video I've ever made. I don't think I've ever even made a video similar to this besides, like, maybe my first video. Basically, I'm just gonna talk about things that are overrated in my opinion, underrated in my opinion, or just downright terrible. But people seem to like these things, to my dismay. Before we get on with this, one of my friends told me to mention Beck Noir, because he's in the background. So I guess I have to mention him. Yeah, he's a terrible character, awful, completely awful. Never put him into Smash Bros. Or anything else ever. Also, his name is technically Blackbeak. My first unpopular opinion is, oh god, My Hero Academia. I know I showed him in the thumbnail. I'm sure people were like, oh, he's not gonna hate on that show. That show is amazing to the biblical proportion of literal Jesus. No. I think it's very generic. And not really that interesting. It's basically Sky High from Disney if you made it into an anime and said, hey, what should the main character be like? Oh, I know, a
Saltine cracker.
So, besides the fact that I'm sure, since Midoriya is white, he's going to be very offended about that one. But, also the fact that he's very bland as a character. Quite literally, his whole arc is, hey, I'm not strong. I want to get stronger. I like heroes. I want to be funny quirk man. And he tries to be a hero. It doesn't work out too much since he doesn't have powers. Literally, he gets given a gift of just becoming God, basically. The one for all, which I guess he has to, master first, but it's kind of like, you just gave a power to this guy. He didn't earn it. Throughout the entire thing, all he has done is saved one person. And that's about it. And All Might was kind of, during that entire conversation, tired of his shit. So, I don't know how people think this character is endearing or anything. Even when during the show when he toughens up, he kinda just, I don't know, does nothing. Not by the fact that he doesn't do anything, it's the fact that it's like, it doesn't do anything for him. He's still like a big crybaby, and is barely that interesting. I think the only reason people even like this character is because of the amazing Yaoi manga made after him. Don't look that up. But, it's just, I can't, no. My Hero isn't even that good of a show in my opinion. Okay, the show is better than the main character at least. Any of the characters are better than the main character. It's still... Number 2, Dark Souls. Oh no. I'm getting the feeling that this one is the main one that people are going to be burned alive for, but this is not gonna be me saying Dark Souls is a bad game. Far from it, actually. I think it's a brilliant work of gothic art and is quite challenging at times. I don't think it's the hardest game in the world, since, if it were the hardest game in the world, it wouldn't even have checkpoints or anything. But I do think it's a decent challenge, and I do think it challenges players. The main reason I don't like it is because every single person thinks this untouchable game that's super hyper difficult or something like that. And it's, to me, I don't think the game's perfect. It can get a little how do I explain this? There are parts of the game where they just, it's very janky. Like, a lot of the combat is amazing, yes, but I don't think, there's parts where it's like, why would you do that? Especially with one of the bosses, I forgot her name, but she's like the person who started most of it, and now she's a tree. But it forces you to do platforming, something that Dark Souls never even thinks about touching, unless it's like backstabbing a boss. But it's whatever. Alright, you saw this from the thumbnail. Pokemon, and I know what you're thinking. No, it's not the card game. I think the card game, at worst, can be based on luck a little bit. But at its best, it can be an interesting and fun card game. No, I'm talking about the stupid anime that... Oh! I'm sorry, I cannot ever get into this one. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Animes, well, some of them are amazing. Amazing in quotes. Most of them are a little corny, but it's whatever. And some of them making me want to rip out my ears because of the quite bad voice acting. But what could be the reason I don't like the Pokemon anime? Way too repetitive with its ideas, just having Ash collect gym badges for 9 years, and making Will go insane from watching this because they would play it all the time on Cartoon Network before any other show in the morning. And I hated this because I didn't think it was that interesting of a show, along with Bakugan. So if you were wondering if I like that, I don't know why you'd be doing that, but I don't know. Let's get to the point. It's a very repetitive show. I know that it has its fans. I don't understand it at all. I think it was made just to push out more copies of the game itself. I can see that they have a lot more to do with the actual games sometimes, but it's just a character based on its own world, and I hate the fact that Ash is red, apparently, because Red was a much more interesting character in the actual games because he was completely silent and we didn't know anything about him. Why? But yeah, and also the stupid censorship stuff, it's not even that bad, honestly. There's like one scene I would definitely say, yeah, remove that, but it's like, whatever. Alright, last one. I might do another one of these because there's a lot of games where I'm kind of like, yeah, that's not as good as people think, or yeah, that's not as like interesting to me. But what I think is the most overrated, underrated, or whatever is the Babadook. Yeah, this one got hated on a ton. For no, there's good reasons, but this one is what I consider underrated in this, and I don't understand where the hate train is coming for this one. There are a few scenes with relatively bad acting, but that's about it. This entire movie, from top to bottom, is pretty well, not terrifying, but like pretty scary at times. Instead of the creature actually being real, it's actually representative of something. The Babadook is basically this lady's entire, like, psychological existence at points in this movie. To drive her insane, and basically makes her the bad guy throughout this movie. The Babadook isn't even real, and the entire book thing is just to screw with her head. Basically, this creature was to represent her depression. It's pretty interesting. Basically, throughout the entire movie, it's kind of hinted at, but not really hinted at, that there is no father for this kid. And throughout the movie, like, the Babadook does have a few actual scares, and you do see him a few times. Each of those times either being or absolutely terrifying. They represent her depression and sadness due to the fact that it's basically a reminder to her. The dad is dead, and the entire time she's basically trying to deal with this thing looming over her shoulder. And in order to feed that trauma, they physically show her feeding this monster, basically representing how to handle, not depression, but like, just her mood at that point. It's a really interesting movie, and I love movies where, horror movies in fact, where the character isn't even really, there is no horror monster, there is no monster that's trying to kill everybody, there is no physical being, but instead it's emotional. This thing, it isn't real, and the only person who has killed anything is the mother herself, going through all of this. Instead of it being a twist or anything, it's just interesting. And I think it's a really good movie. Sorry for the spoilers, but you should just watch this movie already. It got pretty bad reviews, but I think it's pretty brilliant in its execution. Honorable mentions are Optimal Cooler and Sentokai. Optimal Cooler's music, I don't think it's ever gone downhill, bro. Such amazing classics as A Man of Instinct and such amazing VODs from Sentokai. This is not me trying to be facetious, maybe with Optimal Coolers, but go check them out. Dude, IHS7's amazing Morrowind playthrough, bro. I've never had someone eat so much ramen in my life. It's incredible. Apothecant Reapers, Monster Madness reviews, bro, and amazing walkthroughs really got me through that one area. Got that chainsaw, bro. That was pretty epic. Definitely didn't cheese the game. That was pretty epic, bro. The most underrated of all my viewers. I don't know how they haven't even gotten sponsorships, bro. I may not ever understand.